Today, everybody, we're going to take a look at two very interesting fruits that are native to Australia, the Moreton Bay Chestnut and Satin Ash. Australia has tens of thousands of native plants that are not really well known outside of the country. These plants were highly valued by Aboriginal communities, and they are considered to be the oldest living culture on Earth. They have inhabited this land for over 65,000 years, and that over this huge amount of time, they managed to devise ways of using a lot of these native plants. Then in the 18th century, British colonists arrived to Australia. They deemed the majority of these foods as being inedible. They cleared a lot of land and grew things that they were more comfortable with that they brought over from Europe. Although today there are still problems, a lot of efforts are being taken to correct some of the sins of the past. And one of the big things is that there is a new appreciation for indigenous foods. Many restaurants pride themselves in using native ingredients, and there are even a lot of commercial products that also use native plants. However, with tens of thousands of native plants, not all of them are being appreciated. There are a lot of plants that used to be used by the Aboriginal Australians, where pretty much the practice of using them has died out. And today I'm going to be talking about two of them. The first one is especially important because this used to be a staple food for some of the indigenous communities, and now it's not used anymore. Greetings, everybody. I am here today in the kitchen with Stephen Murray.
Hey, guys.
And we have here today something that was used extensively by the native Australians here. What is this, Stephen?
This is called black bean or Moreton Bay Chestnut.
It actually looks a lot like cola nut.
Yeah, it does look like a cola nut.
I wonder, is it related to cola nut?
This is a true Fabaceae. This is a true bean. Cola is not a bean. It's in a different family. I think cola nut is related to cacao.
Yes.
This one, though, this is related to peas. And it's a very unique thing in that it is very poisonous as is. It's no longer eaten at all, but it's because it requires about a 7-step process.
All right, I've got some time. What are the steps?
Okay, so what you do is first you take it like this while it's green, and then you bake it.
Do that.
And then you take a shell, and you take a shell and you grind it with the shell until it's a mush.
That might take some time, but okay, yeah.
And then they use a special, they call, I think, a dilly bag.
Okay,
which
is
a hand-woven mesh bag that you take it and you put all of that mesh into the bag, and then you put it into a river.
All right.
And then you leave it in the river for a few days until all of the poison, which I believe it's cyanide, is leached out of it.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, then you have something that you can cook with to make kind of like a fry bread.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to eat it, guys.
Yeah.
I think let's just look at it because this is very important. This is very important. I think if we were going to do this, we would need another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Probably here in Australia, which we don't have. We're leaving tomorrow morning. And we probably poison ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
and we really do try not to poison ourselves. I mean, it may not look like that. This was really important for them because this was a starchy thing that you could make and eat and make food out of for long periods of time. It's kind of like how in America we used acorns, even though acorns aren't really poisonous.
And acorns would be dealt with in a similar way.
Yeah.
Native Americans would take acorns out of their shells, put them in a cloth bag, and throw it in the river, and the river would leach out all the tannins, and then you could take it. I actually prepared acorns, and to get around not having a river in my New York City apartment, I boiled water, put the acorns in, and I poured off the water, put new clean water in, poured off the water, put new clean water, and did maybe like 4 or 5 boilings. Even then, it still had some tannin taste, but it reduces it enough where you can do something with it.
Yeah.
If we're dealing with something that's just not unpalatable but toxic, that's not going to be something you'd want to do that with.
It might be cool to watch us eat it, but probably, we should not chew on this.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like it when the creators die on camera. They think that...
Really? Does that happen sometimes?
They'll demonetize you for that one. So if you live in Australia and you're visiting Australia and you see this...
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it, but take a moment to appreciate the history because it's really interesting. Although I didn't want to risk poisoning myself for once, the YouTube channel Primitive Technology did this. He went through the whole process of preparing the Moreton Bay Chestnut, and the flavor that he said it had directly from the river was muddy. And after he cooked it into a flatbread, he said that it tasted kind of like flatbread. So check out that video if you'd like, although that video has 15 million views, so you probably already have. This fruit, by the way, and also the next one I'm going to talk about, these were shared with me by an organization called Johnston's Regional Land Care. What they do is they go into areas of Australia, or specifically in Queensland, that have been cleared, and they replant native plants. Today, less than half of Australia's original wilderness still exists, so efforts like this are very important. If you have a minute, go to their Facebook page and give them a like. The next fruit that I'm going to talk about is something called Satin Ash. This is something that is edible, but not palatable. I have, however, found out why this was used, and it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of this review, but first, here are my first impressions of it. We are in the kitchen right now with a very rare fruit that I've never heard of. I don't know anything about this, but when you saw this, you got very excited.
Yes.
Why? What is this?
So this is another member of the Myrtaceae family. This is in the Acemena group, which is closely related to lily pillies, sometimes called lily pilly.
Does that mean that this is a syzygium?
It was a syzygium. Now it's a different, closely related genus called Acemena, but pretty much a syzygium. Sometimes classified as syzygium.
Okay, and syzygiums are like rose apples, wax apples, water apples. There's a bunch of those.
And there's 600 species of syzygiums in Australia, where we are right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
How many species are there of this Acemena? More than one.
There's more than one. I know of 3.
Okay. It's very rough. Very unlike a syzygium. I know they're not in the same genus, but to be related to something that is typically light and smooth and bell-shaped, instead you have something that looks like a little red potato. It's pretty interesting to me. So let's cut it open.
So that one is full of maggots.
Oh, no. Why are you cutting it?
Alright, we're gonna just throw this guy away. He's getting away from the table.
I don't want that. Oh, that's like straight out of my nightmares. If it were just like 1 or 2, maybe we'd nibble around it.
But no, that was just
share.
Maggot City.
That was just nothing but maggots.
Alright.
Ugh.
Well, we have another one. Very firm flesh.
Okay. Is there a large seed in there?
Very large seed in there.
Oh, okay. And that's why you're not cutting it in half.
I mean, I could try. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. Okay.
There we go.
You can. That looks like a cross section of a planet. Neat. Neat looking. Look at that.
Just touching this, I can feel stone cells. So
that's really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. What part of this would you want to eat? Which layer? Should we go for the Earth's core, the mantle, the crust?
It's going to be just the edge of the crust and see if this is edible. Yeah. It just tastes like sand.
Ha.
It's like if you took an Asian pear and you just took the grainy part of that and nothing else.
It's bitter. Acrid. It's gross. It's like a stick meets sand.
It's a sandy stick.
Sandy stick. Not very good, but very interesting. Very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah, people don't eat it. Still, as a collection aspect, I think that was kind of cool for me to try. Enjoyed it in a way. I hope you enjoyed it in a way.
Yeah.
Also, and see you next time.
Take care. So
I found out more about this fruit, and how I did that was I actually had to go to Facebook groups because there is like no information about this plant online. But on Facebook groups, there is a group called Native Australian Bush Tucker, and I asked them, what do you do with this thing? And I got some really interesting answers. First off, this fruit is something people don't eat because it tastes good. They eat it because it's supposed to be good for you. Supposedly, it is high in vitamin C and antioxidants. Although the flavor of this off the tree is not good, even if you have one that's a better quality one than the one we had, I heard the flavor improves when you cook it, and improves even more if you add honey to it. Because what doesn't? Also, I have a fun fact. Cassowaries, big, scary, giant birds, they like this fruit. They eat it a lot. So this fruit actually has the nickname cassowary gum.
Yep. This is a bird with a body count. So you don't want to... Yeah, and they kill you by slashing open your stomach. So... Alright, we're moving.
So there, I now have a greater appreciation for this fruit than when I actually ate it, and also I feel like I've learned something today. On the surface, sometimes plants don't appear to be all that useful, and sometimes they even try to kill you. Doubly so with Australia. But that is not to say they don't have value. The Aboriginal Australians, through thousands of years, found ways to make the most out of their land. And these are lessons that people are still learning from today. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you all next time. I would like to give a very big thank you to Joseph McCorkle, Smarter Every Day, and Bill T. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. Patreon and also YouTube memberships are how I afford to do all the things that I do on this channel. So for anyone watching who is interested in supporting the channel and getting some really cool bonuses in return, one cool bonus is that there are exclusive videos, over 100 exclusive videos that are only available for members. So yeah, you gotta check it out. I'll put some information down in the description below.